Hey everyone, Victoria Haffer here. And our topic for today is manifestation. And I'm going to share with you the ritual that I use for transforming fear into flow. Right. So we all know, for many of us, whether you're a new spiritual newbie or a more advanced practitioner, we know that when we're in the place of fear, worry, constriction, scarcity, that is definitely going to block our receiving channels. So when we're in that space, so ideally, the step one is we need to recognize that we're in that place. We're in that place of excessive worry, maybe anxiety and fear, and choose to transform it. So that's a big deal. That's really the first step. So notice, awareness, and then choose to shift it. So once you're in that space, because we know that fear can literally repel, right? It can repel abundance. So here are a couple of things to ponder in relationship to shifting. We all say, oh, it's easier said than done when you're in a space of chronic illness, autoimmune, pandemics, job loss, relationship struggles, whatever it is that isn't working for you and you're pushing against, right? We know that what we resist will persist. So if the thing that you've been doing around the thing that isn't working, you might want to ask yourself, how's that working for you? So let's say we're open to doing something differently. And it's not always easy. Sometimes you need to go to that space of just going inward, becoming like the hermit. Maybe you're curled up on the couch watching some feel-good movies, and that's fine. You just don't want to live there. So if indeed you are looking to do some quick change of moving from that lower level vibrational energy into a higher, more expansive state, then you want to start to move through these steps. The first thing is you want to keep your vibe high. So you want to take a look at and do an inventory of your life, of the things that are actually lowering your vibrational frequency. So the first one that comes to mind is negative self-talk. And again, we know that the mind is, can be very strong in the negative aspect. The ego's job is to keep us safe, and often it will kind of kick into that place of what's wrong? What's wrong? So again, it's all about shedding some light on the habits and the patterns and the behaviors that you're taking part in on a daily basis that aren't serving you. So just shine a light on it without judgment, open and curious, interesting point of view, and write it down. So having some kind of a journal can be helpful here so that you can just notice what are you looking at on a daily basis that you do want to shift in that state. So negative self-talk certainly will lower your vibrational frequency, as well as things that you're ingesting. So your food, things like refined sugar, processed foods, things that don't have a lot of life to them will also lower, junk food, fast food, things like that. Diet soda, whatever. So just notice, if that is something that you're taking part in, are you able to shift and move more into that place of whole foods, whole foods, natural foods, colorful foods, things that come out of the ground and are all natural that you can create and make with love. So that's one thing. Are there substances that you might be using for escapism? Again, very common, especially with empathic light leaders. People who are empaths that tend to be really sensitive to the energy around them can often be overwhelming and overpowering. So alcohol, drugs, smoking, pot, whatever that thing is, even scrolling on the phone, Netflix, binge watching. So again, no judgment. We're just cultivating awareness here. So what else could you do instead? When you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, is there something else that you could do that will raise your vibrational frequency? Turn on your favorite music and dance for 10 minutes, change your state. Singing is also scientifically, neuroscience proof. When you sing, you actually stimulate acupressure points in the back of your throat that are connected to the brain, and it can release the feel-good hormones, right? So there are lots of things that we can do that don't cost any money that can help to change the state. Number 2, stay connected to source. I know for myself, in this place years ago, I went through the dark night of the soul, and money was a thing, and I couldn't get it. It wasn't coming to me. I felt like I'm like, there must be a block. And, I was dealing with chronic depression and anxiety, and I just didn't know. And I felt so alone. So it's easy, it's like that rabbit hole that we go down when we feel this way. The last thing we want to do is reach out or connect out or ask for help or ask for support. And we also tend to close our crown chakra off. So the crown chakra, for those of you who don't know, that they're as a chakra therapist and energy healer, I work a lot with the chakras. The chakras are there's 7 major chakras. There's so many chakras, but just, each chakra represents a different aspect of us physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And so the crown chakra is that energetic vortex or wheel that is our direct connection to source, spirit, God, goddess, consciousness, Christ consciousness. So whatever that is for you, right? We're not talking about religion here, and it could be religion for you, but it's really that, the universal life force energy connection, Mother Earth, Father Sky, right? Divine God, goddess, the ascended masters, teachers, archangels, whatever it is that you work with. But be open to asking them for support. So the divine laws of spirituality say that your spiritual team cannot intervene unless you ask for help. So when I was in that state, I was, a dozen times a day when I was in that massive state of scarcity mindset and fear, I was really being open to receiving and funneling in light into my body to clear out any negativity and limiting beliefs and negative self-talk and entities that I may have picked up. So keeping that connection to source very, very, very strong and connected. And if you're able to do in that space of through prayer, sacred prayer and meditation. So prayer is speaking to source and meditation is listening. So often we can talk, but how often are you balancing out the polarity between the prayer and the meditating? The meditating is the receiving aspect, the listening to the subtle cues, which brings me into the third step for manifesting and transforming your fear into flow. And that is to pay attention to the signs and the omens of the universe all around you. What's showing up for you, because the universe is constantly communicating with us. It's just that, are we moving too fast? Are we not listening? Are we really diving deep into the escapism via drugs and alcohol and sex and shopping and all of that, so that we're not able to pick up on those subtle cues? So looking for the signs and the omens all around us, from Mother Earth, from the moon, from the sky, from the animals all around you. If you are noticing a specific animal or insect or bird that shows up for you on a consistent basis, typically it's at least 3 times within a period of 3 days or a week, then they are absolutely communicating with you. and be open to receiving the message. If you don't know that specific, the attributes and the healing qualities of that power animal, then go to the internet and do a search and find out what they have to tell you and speak to you. Be open to receiving from outside of you. Be open to receiving from unexpected sources. As I had mentioned before, a few years back, I was in very much of a pickle financially, and it was really hard. I mean, I had, for many years, I had had jobs and managed corporate facilities, and money was never an issue. And then all of a sudden, I was in my late 40s, and I was struggling. I didn't even know how I was going to pay my rent. So I had be open to the unexpected, right? So we know that one of the rules in manifestation is you don't have to know the how, just be certain in, first of all, you need to be clear on what you want. So what is it that you want? We tend to focus on what we don't want. So you've got to shift that energy into, what do you want? What is it that you need right now? And why? So you want to focus on the energy of the outcome, not the how of the situation. So that's really, 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 really important. And then once you start to come around to the some of the belief systems that might be showing up for you in this space, start to explore and go deeper around your scarcity mindset if you haven't done this already. I grew up, we didn't have a lot of money. We were on welfare, and there was a lot of belief systems that I cultivated as a little girl around abundance and flow. And so I encourage you to explore around that, right? Explore around that piece and just be in the question of what belief systems have you taken on in this lifetime or maybe past lifetimes, and then delete, destroy, and uncreate them. So that's really important. Delete, destroy, and uncreate any beliefs, expectations, judgments that you have around the scarcity mindset and or the situation that you're looking to. Again, if it's you're looking, your let's just say your landlord suddenly says, well, you need to be out in 30 days, and you have 3 dogs and 2 birds and 3 kids, and the market is crazy at this time, and so many places don't allow animals, especially dogs. So instead of you going into that space of, this is so hard, in this market, it'll never happen, notice your mindset and shift it. And so go into the possibility of that there is this amazing home for you out there that will allow animals and all those things that you want, focusing on the want, and that deleting, destroying, and uncreating any beliefs or energy or expectations that you have around it not happening. And just literally imagine or visualize that you're just blowing it up. And again, before I'd mentioned, really, 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 really focus on what you want. So spend time daily, hourly. If you're in an urgent situation, then basically every hour, spend 5 minutes or so just really being in the space of the outcome and imagining being in the energy of that, what you do want. And then lastly, breathe and trust that the universe is inspiring, conspiring for you and has your back every step of the way. And anything that doesn't allow for you to believe that, will you delete, destroy, and uncreate across all time, space, and reality. So happy manifesting. I have your back. If you enjoyed this video, I would absolutely adore you if you would like the video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'd love to hear from you. And please feel free to put in the comments what your takeaway was from this video. Have a magical day. Peace out.